right, so here we are, back in Daytona. You're back with Thor Sports, so, what are your thoughts right now?
Man, I'm really happy considering we just had our first practice session and it didn't look like we were going to get it in for the longest time. So, happy. The truck drove great. I mean, these guys built some fast Tundras over the offseason. I will say that I think last year in Thor Sport Racing, we struggled the most at the bigger tracks. And especially it showed up at Daytona and Talladega. Now, we raced good in Daytona and Talladega, but I think now we're going to qualify better, so that's just free speed. And then once we get to the race, I know we're going to race great. And we ended 4th on the charts, and everybody got in a huge pack. So that just shows kind of the strength that I think these guys have put into these Tundras that they built.
Obviously, you're very passionate about this team. Obviously, you want to be competitive, so coming back with this team, was there any doubts that you were coming back? How was the offseason for you?
The offseason's same old offseason in NASCAR. They call it the silly season, right?
Yeah.
So it's always eventful, and from about, August to November, December, January, that's kind of the stretch. Some people go August to January, some people go August to August, It just changes, depends on what deals come your way. But I'm actually really, really happy about this. We have the support of Safe Flight this year, a lot of support from Toyota this year, and still have, well, they're not on here anymore because Safe Flight's with us now, but Alpha Energy Solutions is back with us again this year as well. So a lot of great people behind us, a lot of good supporters, so it made the choice pretty easy.
Yeah. Do you see this as a second chance in the Truck Series for you?
No, I see this as really the real chance, and the reason I say that is because last year we had to overcome adversity that no team really had to. We had the shop burned down for one, so we had good speed while the shop was still in ashes, but as we were rebuilding it, that's when we realized, wait, we only have one truck, and it's a short track truck. What are we going to take to the mile and a half? What are we going to? So we really, our season was kind of put to a halt to some extent. And then all the other adversity we overcame. There was about 5 or 6 races I think we were in contention to win, where something would happen. Either we had one truck and we couldn't hurt it because we had to race it for the next several weeks, or engine would blow at Bristol. We had a tire go down at Chicago. We got caught up in somebody's mess there. Let's see, we were doing really well here at Daytona last year. Martinsville, we got caught up in a mess. Just you name it, something happened.
Yeah.
So I see this as a really good chance, and we have more support and faster trucks than ever. Last year, at some point, we may have been racing with 1 or 2 trucks. Now we've got 9 at our disposal. I should say, in our arsenal. In our arsenal, yes.
So you were the big team, but as you said there, you did have to conserve equipment, and you had almost like a small team would do. Because you only have a little bit of equipment. So I know something like that, it has to benefit a driver. Knowing that you have to take care of your equipment. I bet you learned a lot through that experience.
I learned a lot. There was a big difference from the way I was driving in my first race to my last race, and not just from stuff that I learned and the pace of the race, but guys, we don't have a whole lot of good trucks. We had 4 new teams, so we stretched out our infrastructure, and we were still growing big time. That was a huge leap for Thor Sport to go from 3 to 4 trucks. There's a way that you can make it work with 1, 2, and 3, and then to make that extra jump, that's a huge workload it puts on everybody in the shop. So we were expanding our infrastructure at the time, and then to have everything go, it teaches a driver really how to take care of their equipment. And I don't know if that's a problem with the Cup Series where, new car. Now we're rolling out Tundras really, really quick, and we have a fantastic body shop now.
Yeah. So the difference from last year to this year, teammates-wise, Rico Abreu, he's out of here. You got Brandon Figure, Crafton's still here. So the difference with the teammates, how does that change your mindset?
I actually like having new teammates. Change is good. Change is really good in NASCAR. It kind of goes back to segments in the race. There's new changes every year, and that's just something you have to, roll with. And I've dealt with it my whole career. I've been at a new team like every single year for the past however many years. This is the first time I've really come back to a team.
Really?
So, I'm used to having faces coming and going. But Rico, I'm still friends with Rico. Still really good friends with Cameron. Great guys, great teammates, but I'm happy about developing a relationship with Cody Coughlin and Brandon Finger. From what I've seen so far and what I've seen on the track just now, they're good on the track and off the track. And the first person I saw when I got on my truck today after practice was Brandon Finger. So that just shows you what type of guy he is. And we started talking for a minute, debriefed with my crew chief, and as soon as we're done here, me and him are going at it again. So he's a great guy.
Yeah, I bet. So obviously, one of your biggest passions and one of your biggest strengths is marketability. And what I've seen from you, you're you always dress nice, you always got a smile on your face, and marketability is really important in the sport right now. So, how did that come about? How are you a good speaker?
Well, I don't know if I am a good speaker. Sometimes I say things I shouldn't say. Actually, I'm dressing down this year. I wore more of the dress pants, kind of like the casual golf pants and stuff, and because A, they were comfortable and lightweight, but B, now I'm going to some jeans. I got my Converse on now,
nice.
And I'm kind of dressing down a little bit. But I would say it started Kentucky Speedway probably 2010. Really, I guess that was the very first year for Cup there, I believe. The very first year that Cup was at Kentucky Speedway, I was racing legend cars, and we were racing the Fast Midwest Series that raced at Kentucky almost every weekend. So we raced that weekend in front of those guys. It's like, holy moly, this is the big time stuff. I got to put on a show. And I'm in Legends at this time. So they gave me the opportunity to put my legend car up front, right at the front gate, meet people. And I was, 13 at the time. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was scared to talk to people. So they put me out there and they left me and said, you can't leave the car. And then people come by, they want to talk. My parents would push me saying, look, you want to do this, you have to learn to talk to people. So every year since then, I've had a car out at Kentucky Speedway. We've done multiple shows, and because of their push at a young age, I think that's really what helped get me on the right track on this side of the sport. You got the business side and the racing side, and as a driver, you have to balance both, I think.
Yeah. Especially
today.
Yeah. So you weren't an advocate of school presentations, stuff like that. It started through racing. That's it.
It wasn't so much the school presentations as much as it was the racing that made me do it, and my parents that made me do it. Because doing the presentation in front of your peers is one thing, but then getting out in front of strangers is completely different. And I think I got more nervous eventually doing my peer presentations than I did speaking on camera. And
wow.
Yeah, because your peers can make fun of you all day, every day.
True.
The strangers, you just kind of brush. I don't know you. Who are you?
So obviously you've proven your racing ability, but as you said, the business and the racing, they do combine a little bit. So do you think you would still be here if you weren't a marketable race car driver?
I don't know. It's so hard. I think you almost have to be the total package these days, and I don't know if I am. I'm still trying to work on it. I'm still trying to engage with fans and be the best that I can be on and off the track. And you just have to have fun with it, is all it is. I think that's what it comes down to. People try to make it a science and try to make it almost like an engineering session, which we got enough engineers in NASCAR. So I think you just have to be yourself and have fun and just be real, just be realistic and be authentic, be yourself. But I think being on the business side has been a huge aid. The competition drives it at the lower levels, and then having that business side helps accelerate the growth,
right.
I think.
Yeah.
So, putting it in engineering terms.
So, you pretty much came on the scene really quick. At least from my standpoint, you went straight to Xfinity, did 10 races there, huge team JRM. So, it's been about a year or two now. Looking back on those races and that series now, what goes through your mind?
Hard. That was probably the most difficult season that I had ever had, and if I could go back and do it all, I think I would have done. While I have a great relationship with JRM, and those guys are great. I was walking through Xfinity earlier and saying hi to all my old guys. I developed great relationships, but the problem with that though is I wasn't in the car enough. And if I could go back and do it all again, I think I would go to trucks for a full season rather than Xfinity for a part season, and that's because of me. As a young driver, I feel like I needed that seat time, a little more seat time. I craved that seat time for sure. And going to the tracks and watching from the outside, you can really learn so much doing that. And getting in it and hands-on, that's the type of learner that I am. And so it made it hard to benefit from it because you would get comfortable. Lap 200 of the race. Wait, you can't throw the checkered flag. I just now got comfortable, guys. Let's restart this whole thing. And then you would wait a month till you got in the car again, and you were just you're in a perpetual cycle of just relearning. So you never got a good solid foundation under you, and I feel like that's what the Truck Series has provided me, especially 2016.
Yeah, that kind of shows you the importance of the ladder system. Like some people go straight to the top, they get their name known, but maybe they struggle a lot.
They might struggle for a year or two, or maybe half a year. It depends on the learner, but yeah, if I could have had a full season Xfinity, I think we would have been fine. It would have been struggle at first. The end of the year I would have still been learning. The second year would have been great. but definitely 10 races was pretty hard.
Yeah. So obviously you're one of the many young talents in NASCAR. Do you ever feel threatened by maybe someone like William Byron, who just goes out there and just lights the world on fire? Do you ever feel threatened by them?
Not really. Everybody's in a different situation. William's situation is different than my situation. Every team's different. The amount of funding that you have is different. The amount of engineering and support and bodies that you have is all different. So, it's hard to compare apples to people, and especially in racing. Football, I think you can do that. NBA, you can do it. But I think racing is so much more of a team sport than what people realize, because you could be the best driver in the world, but if you don't have the best mechanics, the best crew behind you, you're not going to be able to showcase the ability. But if you could have the best mechanics behind you, but if you're the worst driver in the world and you're wrecking every week, the mechanics, your whole team's going to be so mad at you. But B, you're not giving them what they deserve, and it's such a fine line between everything. So, but I think having youth in the sport is huge. So when I see young guys in the sport doing good, I'm happy about that, because it shows the health of the sport. And I want youth in NASCAR because, A, I'm a young guy. I like to see young guys in the sport, people I can connect with and be friends with. So it just shows health of the sport, just like anything else.
Yeah. Obviously, you started in the K&N series when it comes to NASCAR. I'll actually be testing a K&N car this summer, so if you can give some pointers on how to drive those things, obviously they're pretty powerful.
They are powerful. Definitely have to be easy on the throttle. Easy on the throttle, being smooth is huge. Keeping weight on the nose on short tracks. If you're at a road course, it's reverse braking. You're hard on the brakes early, and then you're gradually letting off. Short tracks, it's all about kind of digging into the brakes, and you're keeping the weight on the nose to keep good turn into it. You're balancing all that out. You almost have to work that hand in hand. The momentum it goes hand in hand. Momentum and front grip versus brake.
Right.
Throttle, keeping forward drive in the car, being smooth is a big thing. But those things are a blast. The bias ply tires that K&N East cars, K&N West cars have are so much fun, because you can lay all over them. They're like a sponge. They just soak up any mistakes you make, and they'll soak up anything you put onto them. Where the radials are really unforgiving. If you make a mistake, you really have to catch it and be on top of your game. So the bias plies put on some great racing for that reason.
Okay, great. So a few fun questions, and I got some photos. So you just celebrated your 20th birthday. You just got your private pilot's license.
Yeah.
If I got that right. So how was that? That's pretty intense.
That was interesting. It reminds me of racing here at Daytona, actually.
Really?
Between practice sessions, I was kind of drawing correlations, because the whole time you're out at Daytona, you're full throttle, you're checking gauges the whole time. The airplane, so you're watching out, you're doing your stuff outside, just like here at Daytona, then you reference your gauges the whole time. So very similar to being out there in the pack, always referencing your instruments, where same thing as being a private pilot, but having to fly it first or drive it first. So I was kind of drawing a correlation there. It's a lot of fun, and glad to have it now, because I'm hoping to be able to use that to get to some of these races.
Right. So what was the first NASCAR race you went to?
You know what? It was Kentucky Speedway.
Was it?
Yeah, so I actually got into racing, and I had only watched it on TV for all those years until Kentucky Speedway came to town, because I never had a chance to go watch it, because we were always doing our own racing. So we would race 100 races a year, and for a small family, that was a tall order. So it made it hard to go and see them, but once Kentucky was in town, that was convenient. I raced that weekend. We went up Ticket Towner, we got our tickets, got our funnel cake, we went up to the top and had scanners and all. We were the super fans, and I fell in love with it even more at that time. And as a young kid, I knew that's what I wanted to do when I watched it on TV, but once I saw it, I was like, even more so. So it was great. Yeah. I still have the tickets, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. So what was your favorite NASCAR moment? Maybe not involving you or one of your races. What's your favorite NASCAR moment?
That's hard.
Yeah.
There's a lot. That's so hard. I don't know. Everybody obviously thinks back to the Terminator and what he's been able to do. I like to think back to how he drove in some of these rough and tough guys, these grizzled veterans of NASCAR back in the 90s. The 90s and early 2000s are like, to me, I love it. And so I'll always look back at those guys and how they drove each other, and how they had respect for each other on the racetrack, but at the same time, they could, they drove each other so rough and tough. And I like that. I want to see more of that. And So I try to compare myself to some of those guys and kind of emulate them a little bit.
Yeah. So I got a few photos here. Just talk me, what you were doing at this time, and maybe a little backstory goes into it. Here's the first one here.
Yeah, this is a meet and greet at Children's Hospital out in Gateway, St. Louis. It was pretty special because I was out there for the media advance with NASCAR in St. Louis, and we ended up having a really good showing that weekend, but we were giving out tickets to families. I was meeting the kids, trying to get them interested in racing, take their mind off of what they're going through. So it was actually pretty special. I've done a few of them before, but this one was neat because I met a lot of really cool kids, and I had more hands-on time than I really had anywhere else.
Right. Flip it over.
Oh,
give a speech. I'm guessing you're pretty nervous there.
Yeah, I was pretty nervous. You can't tell it with the black and white, but I think I had a pretty red neck. Yeah, I was a little nervous. But it was a good time. That was obviously the speech for the NASCAR King and East Banquet. So we had a lot of practice that day. It's kind of embarrassing practicing in front of your family to an empty room with like a coach that was helping me, but I think we did pretty good. I had a blast. That was probably one of the best nights of my life.
Wow. And here's the last one here. Pretty special weekend. Yep.
Yeah. Immediate thought that comes back to this is bumping Matt Crafton out of the way and me talking on the radio. Hey guys, I just moved the current champion out of the way. How's that feel? And that was my very first NASCAR King World Truck Series race. Matt still remembers that, by the way. Yeah, he told me about it. So this was 2014, and I only did 4 races that year. So it was pretty cool. We were the 32 truck, one of the many numbers that we ran. Now 27 Toyota Tundra. So we're the evolution of Ben Rhodes, I guess.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, definitely appreciate your time. Best of luck this weekend. Yeah,
absolutely.
Great stuff.
Awesome.
Thanks a lot, Ben.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Jared, it's real stressful.